Okay, hello and hey everybody. Thank you so much for watching my last video and leaving comments as of Saturday evening. What's Saturday? Today's the 12th. I had about 60 or so comments, and many of them were questions. So I've got them printed out here, and I'm just going to go down the list. I'll probably have to do a part 2 because I doubt I'll get through them all. You know, I tend to lack brevity in responses, and I'm going to take all the Star Wars ones and movie ones, and I'll probably do those on my Taisha Jason channel because it's kind of like over there I talk about movies and stuff. So if you left a movie or, you know, nerdy type question, I'll probably answer that in a separate vlog. Okay, but let's get started. And, you know, I apologize right off the bat if I mangle your screen name. Gomenne. We'll see how we go here. Cornelius Huxtable asks, when in San Diego, what restaurants remind you of Japan? To be honest, I haven't really, since I've been back, gone out to eat Japanese food. Except one time I went out with my sister to eat sushi. But I actually don't eat sushi. I don't eat any seafood or fish. So, you know, for me living in Japan, the food was... I'm trying to think of what the English word is that you say. Not collateral damage, but that's not right. The food for me was tolerable, and I like some of it a lot, but the food for me is definitely not a reason I like to go to Japan or loved living in Japan. Yeah, I guess maybe, you know, because I'm older and stuff, when I went over, I definitely prefer Western food. So, but I mean, I do like certain Japanese foods quite a bit. Just not a lot of the popular ones, I guess. He also asked, how long is the flight from Southern California really, and how bad is it? I don't mind flying because my parents, I think both my parents, as many of you know, are from England. I used to fly to Europe quite a bit when I was a youngster, and so that was usually about a 10-hour flight. From LAX to London, and Japan is about the same. You know, it's about 11 hours or so. It's a little bit longer either going or coming back, I can't remember, so it can be about 12 hours sometimes. But it's not that bad. I mean, now with everything they have nowadays, you know, the little screen in the back of the seat, you can play video games, you can watch a movie, you know, you've got your iPod, you got your laptop, you got a good book, you take a Xanax and go to sleep. I mean, whatever it is that you need to do. For me, being a fat person, I will say that, you know, it's just, for me, it's just uncomfortable. Because, you know, unless you can afford to fly business class or first class, the seat is really small, at least for me. So that's never a pleasure. I don't look forward to flying, but I don't mind flying. So, Dad, don't worry about it too much. Okay. Tiramisu Happy it was talking about the jobless rate and going back to get my master's. The problem with me getting my master's is I don't really want to get my master's in something like education or linguistics. I would really be, not because those aren't interesting or whatever, it's just because I would rather study something that really excites me, like European history or just history in general, or you know, international relations or something like that. And unfortunately, I think when you are applying for teaching jobs at a higher level in Japan, say you want to work at a Japanese university, they do like you to have a master's degree. And, you know, a lot of people say a master's degree is the new bachelor's degree, you know, like, you know, it seems like so many more people have them nowadays. And I just don't want to get one in education necessarily. So, I don't know. But my friend PJ, you know, Kansai PJ, got his master's while living in Japan, so it's something I would think about when I move back, if I could work out a way to do it. Mihail Leather, what should young people do when they want to go to get a job in Japan? Well, the response from Misokatsu99 is very right on. You can't even really think about going to Japan to do anything until you get your 4-year degree or your 3-year degree if you're in England, or, you know, get your college, you know, bachelor's of arts, bachelor's of science degree. Once you've done that, then you can think about going to Japan. Most of your options are going to be limited to language teaching unless you have some crazy technical skills in like IT, or you're very, very fluent in Japanese. That opens up your possibilities quite a bit. Daga18 asks, when you were in Japan, did you read manga? No. There's a couple other manga questions here, and I'll probably just hit on them lightly, but yeah, I'm just not into manga. I've read it a little bit. Like, I was a big fan of a company, to get comic book nerdy for a minute, called Dark Horse. When I was growing up, I'm a huge Concrete fan. Sin City started at Dark Horse. But anyway, they published a lot of manga, and I would skim through it sometimes, but I just never got into it, never got into anime. Perhaps I'm just a little bit too old. Not old as in like too mature for it, but I think the craze that kind of swept, you know, kind of around the time of Akira and the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I know that's not anime, but you know, around 87, 88, you know, early 90s. Like, I was already in college, and yeah, I just never got into it. So I don't know anything about, really. I mean, I know the titles and everything from my kids. I know about Bleach. I know about One Piece. You know, I've seen the movie Nana, the live action. You know, I know skimming things about it, but I don't know in depth about any of it. So I didn't read anything while I was there. All right, next page. Tora Cat Giri asks, do you play any video games or anything in like my free time? No, that's another thing. When I was a youth, when I was a young kid, I have a younger brother, Paul, who was born in 1975, and so when we were teenagers, we had something called Intellivision, which you have to be a little bit older perhaps to know Intellivision, or like ColecoVision. This is back in the days of like the Atari 2600 and coin-op video games, and we opted for Intellivision, and there were some cool games on Intellivision. Anyway, so we used to play that at home, and I was into that for a little while, but then I kind of lost interest as I got older, and when the newer wave of really cool video games like the Nintendo and PlayStation, and then of course later Xbox and all these things came out, I just never really got back into it at all. I played a few things on the computer that I really like. I really like something called like Roller Coaster Tycoon. Like, I like simulation games like that. I love Risk. I play Risk on the computer all the time. But computer games now, like Call of Duty and some of these games, they scare me. They're just so like hyper real, and like I just look at the controller and I go, wow, like I feel old when I look at it. Like, I could never learn how to play this or do this. The only modern game I really enjoy, and the whole reason I owned a GameCube in Japan for a little while, I bought it off an old jet who was leaving us because he had one game, and that's Super Mario Kart, because you have to accelerate and steer. And I'm like, I can do that. I love that game. I love that. And I mean, I used to, you know, when I was first in college, one of my friends got a Nintendo, Super Nintendo, and we used to play Tetris like all hours of the night and day. It was crazy. And Super Mario eventually. But yeah, no modern video games for me. I have no interest in owning them or playing them or, you know, knowing about them. Oh my god, I'm already at 8 minutes. Okay, let's do one more and then we're going to have to do another page. Okay, Boam Morita Castro. Sorry, that's not even close. He asked about doing sumo videos again. I do sumo videos again. In fact, I just watched sumo for an entire 2 weeks. I blogged about it almost every day. It's over on a different channel. I'll put the link in the sidebar. And it's Jason's with an S, Jason's in Japan. That's the channel from all my sumo videos. I just moved them all to a separate channel. If you're into sumo, go over there. I have about 450 subscribers who are into sumo over there. And I'll be vlogging again in January. Okay, so this is already at 9 minutes. I'll put a bookmark right there, and we'll stop here. And I guess this is going to be multi-part, so I hope these don't get boring. And I'll probably wear UCSD, baby, the same sweatshirt in the next one. Okay, talk to you soon.